Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Odyssey. My name's Jason and today we're looking at the Bitcoin chart and I'm giving you an update on the latest moves in the market. Taking a look at the latest move that Bitcoin made, we can see that it respected our levels perfectly. Almost to the T, you cannot make this stuff up. In our previous video, we were talking about this ascending triangle breakout. We had a fake out to the downside, which ultimately led us to this upper band here of 88k. I was saying that if we broke out of this 88k level and we confirmed it as support, then the next target would be this 95,000 level. Let me just show you that on the screen right now from our previous video. I think that price in the short term is likely to move till about that 95k level. Let's just get onto the daily quickly so I can see. Yep, exactly. Around 94, 95. I think this is where we're going to be going next if we can confirm this 88k level as support. Now, I'm not showing that just to toot my own horn, but to be as transparent and as open with you viewers. So what are the next moves for Bitcoin and where is the market going from now? This target point of 96k or 95k rather is significant because it is where we had not just one point of resistance, but multiple touch points. So if we think that we're going to blast through this section like it doesn't exist, I think is a little bit optimistic. What I suspect price is going to do in the short term is fluctuate between these levels. And that's between 94 and 88k. Price will likely dance around this point before choosing a direction. Let's have a look on some of our indicators, including the stochastic RSI, to see whether we are in the overbought region or not. Looking at the stochastic RSI on the 4-hourly here, and we are postured to the downside. This move here is a point of indecision. It's what we call a doji candle, and it isn't clear whether the bulls want to continue this move to the upside. I imagine because this is quite a significant point of resistance, we are going to see a pullback. How far we're going to see that? Potentially back down to this 88k level to establish some kind of support before we ideally move to the upside. If we're looking at the 8-hourly, you can see that we are now in the overbought section and we are moving down. Bearing in mind though, we can stay in these regions for some time. However, the probability is that we're going to see a move back down to this 88k level and test it as support. If we jump into the daily, for example, then we can see that we are quite overbought here and are due a correction. We are seeing potentially a stochastic RSI flip here. So the blue line will cross over the orange and the market may well return to test this level. It's looking like it wants to be tested essentially. If we jump onto the 3 daily, then we can see how powerful this move is. This is a vector candle. This is a strong, fast move. And we are still pointed to the upside. I'm not convinced based on how large resistance is up here. You know, this was a top. This was a textbook double top. It's likely that we're not going to break through it on our first go. Despite the fact that this is looking like a double bottom, our technical target was still this 95k level. We have almost touched it. We're very close, might as well have. If we just get up a Fibonacci, we can see that we have pretty much gone straight to our 0.618, which is where the market likes to move to. Looking at this Fibonacci retracement, there is a chance that we actually don't need to go down to this 88k level and that we will retrace back to the 0.5, which is around 91,000. That is potentially a target that we could reach instead of having to necessarily go down to that 88k. Of course, if we don't find support on this 0.5, then we might retrace back down to consolidate above our breakout point. If we jump into the weekly, then this is where we have a different story, because it's obvious that this move that we're seeing play out is not the entirety of the move. This is a fast move. However, on the bigger picture, this weekly stochastic RSI is telling us that there is more power, more upside to be seen. In the short term, in the 4-hourly and on the daily, we are seeing the indicators posture downwards. That's fine. That essentially allows us the time to consolidate, as I said earlier, between 88k and 95k. I imagine we might stay there for some time, whether it be a week, 2 weeks or so, before we see a direction. Ideally, based on the higher time frames, that move will be to the upside, hopefully new all-time highs. However, we have to be conscious of the fact that we are late in the cycle. I'm just going to zoom out here. What we're going to do here is we're going to draw in the cycles and see how far we are in the cycle in comparison to previous years. If we see here, we had this entire cycle, which lasted for a period of 1,065 days. Then we had our top, and our bear market came to its conclusion in 2018. This was a low. I know we had a low back here, but this was a black swan event. And our bull market this time lasted 821 days. So let's keep a record of that. We had around 1,000 or so days. Next was around 900 or so, just to round up to make it easier. We don't have to be exactly on the T here. We're just getting an idea. And then the second top. Now, there's a little bit of a contention here as to whether or not this second high was really a new high, so to speak, because of how close it is to the prior move. However, I'm going to take it from this position just because we did technically make a higher high, even though it's not significant. We draw out from the low as we did previously to here, and you can see that we are 821 days into the cycle, which is telling me that we are deep in this cycle. There is not that much time left. We have to be cautious of the fact that the high or the top may be in, or it's going to be in the next month, 2 months. I don't think that we're going to be getting to September before the bear market starts. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you back at the next one tomorrow. Take care, much love, and see you in the next one.